Wickliffe Family's Principal Angela Evans here. I'm excited to be sharing this information with you all today, as it means we are bringing our students back all in. While we know this year has been like no other, we have persevered as a Wickliffe family, and I'm so proud of each and every one of you, as well as all of our students who have powered through this year, and we just can't wait to bring everyone back into the building. I want to take a moment to thank all of our Wickliffe staff who have worked so hard this year in creating a positive atmosphere for our students. Thank you to our online academy teachers as well, who are taking care of our Wickliffe pack who are in the online academy this year. But most importantly, I want to take a moment to thank all of our parents who have devoted so much time and energy in helping their children succeed this year. I know as a parent, there have been many challenges that we have faced and lots of ups and downs throughout the year. And I just want to say thank you to all of you for the support that you continue to provide our teachers, but also for the support that you have given your children during this challenging year. Tonight, I have a presentation that I'm going to share with you that goes through information about our transition to all in. And I want to make sure that you all have as much information as possible as we move into our students coming back on March 1st. So just as a reminder, all in means that our students will be returning 5 days a week starting Monday, March 1st. So let me share my screen with you for just a minute to help guide our conversation tonight. Okay, here we go. So the most important thing as we return all in is really taking the time to spend with our students to co-construct our community. And that means that we will be focusing on routines. We're going to spend time focusing on the social emotional well-being of our students. But most importantly, transitions are going to be slow. Your children, you will notice, they might be extremely exhausted when they come home. They might be irritable. And that is just because they haven't been in school every single day since March of last year. So we highly suggest that you start getting your children into the routine of going to bed at the same time at night and waking up at the same time. So they're getting prepared for what it means to be returning to school each and every day. Our number one focus during this time is really taking it slow to build community, as this will be the first time that the two cohorts have come together as one. We will also be following our normal A through E schedule, which is shared with you all in our weekend update this last week, and we'll continue to share with that moving forward. When we think about what it means to be all in, the best way we can describe our all in model is it's going to be a typical school, just like it was before pre-COVID, but we are going to have mitigation protocols in place that we have had in place all year. So for our staff and for our students, much of this isn't going to look or feel any different. It's just there's going to be a few more bodies around them. So we'll continue to maintain 6 feet distancing at lunch and when eating snack. We will be wearing masks at all times throughout the building when we're outside on recess. And this is something that we are doing currently, and we're doing that outside as well. We'll continue to maintain our cleaning protocols of hand sanitizing, wiping tables and surfaces that are being used. And so we will continue this measures that we have in place that have kept our students and staff healthy throughout this entire year. And we'll still continue to follow our nurse protocols for signs of illness that we have followed this year. And unfortunately, we won't be able to have in-person town meetings. I think that's one thing that our staff and students are really looking forward to, but we'll still continue to do those virtually. And as soon as we're able to bring our whole school community together as one, we will. So just want to kind of fill you all in, as We know that it's extremely important that parents take an active role in making sure that their children are healthy, as this continues to keep us healthy at school. So it's important that parents assess students before they come to school. Unfortunately, students are no longer allowed to wear gaiters, so continue to please send masks into school with your children. We also suggest that you send maybe one or two extra in their backpack, just because they can easily get lost, but also they can get a little bit wet from being outside on the playground. Another thing is just we won't be able to have visitors and volunteers. I know that many of you are itching to get back into the building and support in ways that you have in the past, but we still won't be having volunteers into our building. We won't be taking any field trips at this moment. And we are limiting our facility rentals in our building. But like we said, we'll continue to follow all of our safety protocols that we have put in place thus far this year. One thing to remember is before you send your child to school, please make sure you take time to ask yourself the self-screening questions of your children to make sure that we can continue to keep both your children safe, but also those who are around them at school. This is what really helps us to maintain our all-in status. And you all have done such a great job with that this entire year that I don't foresee this being an issue, but just a reminder that you all take an active role as parents in making sure that you're checking in on your children before sending them off in the morning. As we all know, proper mask wearing is the #1 way to mitigate the spread of COVID. And so we will continue to advocate and promote proper mask wearing. And in all honesty, our children have done such a fantastic job with this throughout the year. We've had very, very little instances where students aren't wearing masks. So please just make sure that you continue to promote that with your children, as well as send in extra masks for them. One thing that I am really excited to share is that our arrival and dismissal plans will change with us returning all in. I know that we have recently had some just backup on our drop off and pickup in the morning and afternoons. So as we transition into these new routines, I'm just asking that all of our families be patient and know that these first few weeks back in, traffic will increase, and we are doing our best to help offset some of those traffics by changing our current plan. Remember, as you are dropping your child off at school, please make sure that you're wearing a mask as well if you're walking with your child. We will continue to have our K-3 car riders using the side parking lot, but our 4, 5, and younger siblings who have 4th and 5th grade siblings will be dropped off and picked up at a different location. So stay tuned, because our next slide is all about what we will be doing for our new arrival and dismissal plan. So as you can see in this diagram, we will still maintain our bus drop-off off of Wickliffe Road. If you are a family that has a kindergartner through 3rd grader, you will drive down Wickliffe Road. You will enter the parking lot down here, and you'll go around just the way you have been doing since the beginning of the year. And you will drop your child off here and pick up your child here. And then you'll make your way right outside the parking lot. What we are changing is our 4th and 5th grade students, as well as any younger siblings of our 4th and 5th grade students, will no longer be picked up in this front area. We are going to move this car pickup and drop off over to East Cleft. So this is a one-way road. So all of our families will need to enter down here to go off of East Cleft and to drop your child off. It's really important that you are not dropping your child off in this area, but rather taking the time to pull up where our car duty person is, and they will help make sure that we're getting our students out of the car safely and into the building. We are excited about this change, as I know that there's just been a lot of congestion on Wickliffe Road since we have so many cars and our buses all coming together in one point on Wickliffe Road. So hopefully you'll see an increase in speed with getting your children in and out of the cars at pickup and drop off. So this is just to show an image of drop off and pickup on East Cleft. We don't want families dropping kids off here. We want them to pull up into the extra lane that allows for dropping students off. So we'll make sure that we have some markings out there next week to get all of you into the routine of how to drop off and pick up in this area. And most of you are probably very familiar with this because this is where we did drop off and pick up last year when we were in the old building. Our classrooms will resemble what a typical classroom looked like before the COVID-19 pandemic. And we are excited because we have all this new furniture that allows for so much flexibility and creativity in the way that we set up our classrooms. So we're really excited to be able to have some opportunity to have our classrooms look in the way that we intentionally designed them for when we were planning for these new spaces. We haven't been able to do that this year. And so I know our staff, they've been working really hard and diligently to get our classroom set up and have even asked our students to help in this process, as they need to be just a part of the planning of the way in which we set up our classrooms. So like I said at the beginning of this presentation, we will continue to have mask wearing in our classrooms. We will clean surfaces, and we will have all of our current cleaning procedures in place that we've been doing throughout the entire year. Obviously, our goal is 3 feet of physical distancing, but there will be times in classrooms where we will not have 3 feet distancing. And so we just want to make sure that we are able to give you some images of what some of our classrooms could and will look like as we head into bringing all of our students back in. So here's another image, and these new tables, you can fit multiple students around them, but also have some quick flexibility to move them apart for when we are in lunch. I know right now you see them put together, but during the lunchtime, they will be spread apart. So each child is at their own table 6 feet apart. So the next part of our presentation is our lunch plan. And I know in all of our communication that we have sent out both from Wickliffe as well as from the district talks all about how we will be planning for 6 feet at lunch. We have spent a lot of time of figuring out ways in which we can divide our students up to be in spaces where we can provide the 6 foot distancing. So throughout the lunch hour, our students will be eating in what we call the town square, which is our cafe. Some will be in the art room, and many students will be in their classrooms. As students enter the cafeteria or the cafe, they will always be using hand sanitizers just as they leave their classroom, as well as when they're coming in from the playground. Students will order lunch at school, and we'll continue to send more information about what lunch ordering will look like. So you have the menu and are able to decide if your child's going to order or pack that day. We will go through the serving line, and I'll show you a few images of that in a minute. And then each teacher is going to pick our students to be in groups. Each class is going to have 2 groups, and those groups are going to stay the same, and then they will have assigned areas in our cafe when they get to eat in the cafe. So we're trying to make sure that all of our children get to either eat in their classroom sometimes and eat in the cafe. And so we are excited just to be able to have our students be in a space together during lunch. So this is an image of the way our cafe in Town Square is set up. As you can tell in this picture over here, we have tables with chairs sitting across, and each seat is 6 feet apart. This is the hallway that goes down into our serving area, and students will go down this hallway. They'll enter through this door, and then they'll go through the serving line where they will pick up their milk, their cold lunch, and then they will let our cafeteria workers know which food they picked for the day. As we continue to talk about some of our transitions this year, recess is one area where our students have done such a wonderful job of creating ideas and being imaginative with the spaces that we have kind of allotted for them during the year. They will continue to stay in their class in that specific playground location. Students will continue to wear masks. So like I said, I know I've said this a couple of times now, please make sure that you continue to pack extra masks for them. And as students exit the building, they will use hand sanitizer just as when they enter the building, they'll continue to use hand sanitizer. Some of the cleaning procedures that we'll continue to put in place are sanitizing and cleaning spaces regularly. Those include desks, tables, and other hard surfaces such as doorknobs, handles, railings, faucets, and other commonly touched spaces. All of our teachers do have disinfectant spray that they can use for after lunch to spray down the tables. And then we'll continue to have frequent sanitizing and deep cleaning of some of our common spaces used by our students, which is mainly our restrooms. Another area that we are continuing to help mitigate the spread is through our classroom supplies. So we know that this year students have had their own individual supplies that they have kept in their own little containers, and will continue to do that when we have all of our students in. We know that there will be some supplies that have to be shared, just like in art class. But we have done a fantastic job of making sure that we're minimizing that. And if it's a high touch material, that we focus on, cleaning them and disinfecting them in between uses when they need to be. Another thing that I also wanted to remind all of you is to make sure that you still continue to have your children bring a water bottle to school. We will not have our fountains up and running. We do have water dispensers so kids can fill up their water bottles, which they've been doing all year long. So please just make sure you remember to continue having your child bring their water bottle to school. As we know, when students are eating, we need to maintain 6-foot distancing. So during snack time, our students will still be 6 feet apart. We've encouraged our teachers to take kids out when the weather gets nicer for snack time, as well as using their neighborhood spaces or some of our extra spaces in the building to be able to make sure they're spreading kids out during snack time. And again, please make sure that you have your child bring a water bottle. We will, with our media center, continue to conduct contactless checkouts, just like we've been doing all year. We have had our students using the learning stairs in our media center, which has been wonderful because we've had teachers who come and use the learning stairs and spread kids apart and do a read aloud. But it's really nice to see that space being utilized in the way that we visioned it to. Any returned books, they'll be untouched and stored for 72 hours and sanitized prior to them being reshelved. And before I head out, I just want to reiterate that the information that I'm sharing with you tonight is what I know right now and what I know today. And I think one thing that we have all learned throughout this entire year is just that things can change minute by minute, day by day, week by week. And so we just continue to appreciate your flexibility in all of this as we transition all in. We know it's going to be a slow process, and we just ask for your patience as we work together to make sure that we have a wonderful first couple weeks back with our students all in. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me, as I will continue to provide more information in the upcoming days. Okay, take care, everyone, and we look forward to seeing your children all in our building on Monday, March 1st.